everybody, and welcome to Daily Football Zone Live, episode 8. I'm here with actually my full crew is actually here for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm here with
Look at all the screens on here.
What happened?
I said, look at all the screens on here.
Yeah, right. I know. I'm used to at least being 4. Yeah, we got the whole crew. We have Jake. He's promoting his Steeler page right now at Terrible Pal Zone. You got Xavier Brown. You got Nahum Rigo and Darian Brown here with us. How you guys doing tonight?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been over a week now since we last been on, and we had New Year's and we all get busy. So I understand. Eventually we'll be able to be on more often. But thank you for everybody that's tuning in tonight. I hope you guys enjoy talking football with us. Okay, we lost Darian, but he'll probably be back. But all right. So yeah, eventually, we plan on doing more lives and eventually putting out a podcast, putting out on all the podcast platforms like Spotify and Apple and all the other podcast sources out there. You can always catch the replays on YouTube. They're also on my right now. They're personally on my Facebook page, and then you can catch it on the Twitter as well. I usually pin every episode after we air, and it'll be on our pin tweet on our profile for at Daily FC. If you don't know by now, and then Instagram is Daily Football Zone. You can also check out the website at dailyfootballzone.com. And we got Darian back. He had some technical difficulties, but it's all good. You're here now. You good, Darian?
Yeah, we're good. I think I'm still frozen, but I don't know why.
Yeah, it says that you're frozen, man. I don't know why, but hopefully you can figure that out. If not, it's all good as long as we can hear you. Yeah, so this is a Daily Football Zone Live. We're now on episode 8 since we started. We're 8 episodes in. Hopefully, by the start of next year, we'll be even further along. And I hope everyone's down for the ride with us. We appreciate every viewer, everyone that communicates and, tags along on this journey with us. So, we didn't go over last week's Week 17 games. That's all good. We're just going to look forward straight to the playoffs. We got the wild card weekend. We got a Steeler. We only got one fan in this in this group that's heads to the playoffs. So the team in the playoffs, and that's the Steelers with Jake over here. All of us are some losers looking forward to next year. But we weren't going to go through one bit of news. There's a lot of news going on with coaching and GMs and that whole carousel. But we're just going to talk about one thing today. Try to make this episode short and sweet. We got the 15 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2021. That includes Peyton Manning, Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson, Reggie Wayne, and there's a lot of other good players that deserve to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Especially Peyton Manning. I think he for sure is going to be a first ballot. Charles Woodson probably will too. Others might, Calvin Johnson, Reggie Wayne, they might have to wait still. There's a lot of good players out there that should be getting their gold jackets this year. And that'll be interesting to watch. Hopefully, we can get the ceremonies. It might not happen because last year got pushed back to this year. So hopefully, everything it'll be normal by then. So, yeah, how do you guys feel, X and Darian, about Charles Woodson? Since Raider fans over here, how do you guys feel about his nomination, being a top 15 finalist?
I think it's well deserved. He's been a top corner in the game. He was able to, when he got older, he was able to adapt and become a strong safety. He was willing to make that sacrifice for the team, and he was a great leader in the locker room. He was a good guy to have around. So I think it's well deserved for him.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I mean, Charles, if you're looking for a defensive back with all the tools and talent and leadership qualities like X was mentioning, Charles Woodson's the complete iteration of that. He rocks the number 24 better than anybody. He's well known for it. And that's actually why Jonathan Abrams wears 24 because of Charles Woodson. So a lot of people want to look into what Charles Woodson meant.
Yeah, he had a great 18 seasons in the league with the Raiders, and then he moved on to Green Bay, and then came back for his final years in Green Bay. So not in Green Bay, in Oakland. Well, at the time of Oakland, the Raiders. He won a Super Bowl with the Packers. He didn't get one with the Raiders, sadly. He had the opportunity though back when you guys played the Buccaneers, but that didn't happen. But yeah, he was a dominant force. Even going back to college, down freaking Michigan, he was a baller. But yeah, we have another Raider, Richard Seymour. He is more with the Patriots, but he played a couple of seasons in Oakland. He's one of the finalists as well. There's other players like Jared Allen and Torrey Holt and Leroy Butler, the one that created the Lambeau Leap. You have Clay Matthews Jr. Clay Matthews the third's father, to not get it confused. Clay Matthews Jr. You had Alan Faneca, Tony Baselli, Sam Mills, John Lynn, Rondé Barber, Zach Thomas. Like there's just like a lot of players. Like all of them, I feel like they should get a gold jacket. All of them will be able to, but there's a lot of finalists that deserve to get that gold jacket, and eventually they all will. Eventually. How you feel about your boy Alan Faneca, Jake? And that's repping the Steelers for you. You think he gets it?
I hope he gets that jacket. It's been a long time coming. He's been missing out on a gold jacket for many years now, and I hope he really gets it because offensive line, I mean, they never really get the credit they deserve on or off the field, during career or post-career. So I hope he really gets it.
Yeah, to be honest, they're not the flashiest players, but they're the most important player on the offense. If you don't have a pass game or you can't pass block, or you can't get the run game going. That's all you rely on, that all on the offensive line. And so I mean, they're not the flashiest running backs, the quarterbacks, but to get their job, then you need the offensive line to do their part. So I mean, he was one of the top guards of the 2000s. He was one of the best guards of the 2000s, and I feel like if it should be this year, I think he should be one of the guys that get it. But there's a lot of good names that I listed, so it'll be interesting to see who actually gets in and who doesn't. But yeah, that should be happening in August. We'll know the final list when they do the NFL honors, so we'll know by then who's going to be in the Hall of Fame and which players they make the cut. But all the ceremony, that's all going to be in. I think it'll be enshrined on August 8th. It was saying. And then you have the Hall of Fame game that's rescheduled between the Cowboys and Steelers, and then they have the class of 2020 enshrinement going to take place the day before on the 7th of August. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who gets in and who doesn't. But yeah, I feel like all those players should eventually get their gold jackets for sure. But Peyton Manning, he's the highlight of it. He's gonna get his for sure. It'd be cool to see Reggie Wayne and Peyton Manning going together, but I don't think Reggie Wayne's gonna be able to become a first ballot, but if he does, good for him.
It's really interesting that there's a lot of finalists that have retired in recent years.
Yeah, like Calvin Johnson, he played 9 years, and he, it's been 5 years now. It seemed like he just retired not that long ago, but yeah, it's been 5 years. He's finally up for the Hall of Fame, and if 9 years enough for him to get inducted as a first ballot? To be honest, I don't think, even though he was probably the best receiver of this last decade. But I mean, he doesn't have a Super Bowl. He doesn't have the MVP, or but he had multiple Pro Bowls and first teams, which that could make a valid point for him to be a first ballot. But I just think because it was not as long as Reggie Wayne, for example. I think he's not gonna become a first ballot. That's just me. But I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it either. I think he does, but it depends on the committee, the Hall of Fame committee. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Calvin Johnson? Do you think he should be a first ballot?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Let us know in the comments for everyone that's watching. Let us know if you think Calvin Johnson deserves to be a first ballot Hall of Famer or not. But yeah, I'll start with you. Do you think Calvin Johnson should be a first ballot, or will he?
He will. I think he will. I think he's for sure first ballot Hall of Famer. He was to me the first ballot Hall of Famer, someone who you can say without a doubt he was the top 2, if not 3 players at his position at the time. If not or if he was a top 5 overall player at his time for a few years, then they're a first ballot Hall of Fame. Peyton Manning, yeah, first ballot. Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson, yeah, up there as a first ballot.
Yeah, I think the only thing is it's hard to imagine someone like Calvin Johnson being a first-round ballot when a guy like T.O., who has played for so long and has won Super Bowl, I believe. Yeah, it took him multiple tries to get into the Hall of Fame. So, yeah,
see, that's a good point.
I think they rigged T.O. I think he should have been first ballot. He's one of the best receivers to ever play, and it took him that long to get into the Hall of Fame, and he should have. I don't disagree with him deciding to do his enshrinement at his college instead of at the Hall of Fame, because I would have felt disrespected too, knowing that what I'd done in the game, not be able to be a first ballot, knowing that, what he's accomplished. This because of his ego that they felt like he shouldn't have been. No, there's so many players that have egos, and I don't think that should have been a factor of the decision.
If that was the issue, Calvin Johnson has. Everyone knows him as like a pretty selfless guy. I feel like he's never been like a diva. Besides wanting to, retired because he was losing too much. He's always been a good character.
And I think the only knock on Calvin Johnson is probably just, he didn't play for 15 years in the league.
Yeah.
He didn't have.
He played for the Detroit Lions of all teams. And you don't watch the Lion games.
Yeah.
You have him playing for the Detroit Lions. He made like 2 playoff appearances in his 9-year career, man. Like, if he would have been on a better team, man, I feel like he'd be even better. Matthew Stafford's a good quarterback, but like if he had if he was on a better team and people were actually watching his games and like people understand like how dominant he was,
But I will say at the same time, because he was on a team like Detroit that's only been in the playoffs for like 2 seasons, since he was on that team, he's so special and so amazing at what he did on the football field that even though he was with Detroit for less than 10 years, he's talked about as a top 5 receiver of all time. That's what makes him. He's so good that he's always in that conversation.
Yeah, his game is crazy, man. I wish he would have been able to play longer. Of course, injuries and all that played a factor as well. That plays a factor for a lot of players. But yeah, he was arguably probably the best receiver of this last decade since he came into the league. He got 2007 when he got drafted, right, out of Georgia Tech. So man, it just sucks that he had to go to Detroit, but I guess being drafted by any team is better than not be. So
overall, he was 2nd overall, right?
Yeah, something like I think 2nd overall.
2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, he was top 5 for sure. Yeah, there's just like it's a really good class. Like there's a lot of good players from Calvin Johnson, like I said, Richard Seymour, Jared Allen, Reggie Wayne, Torrey Holt, which I feel like he's gonna get in eventually, hopefully. You had Leroy Butler and you had Alan Faneca, Tony Baselli, who's been he had a short career as well. It's like Calvin Johnson, but he was good during his time. He made 5 out of I think 7 seasons. He made like 5 Pro Bowls and he even had a burger named after him from McDonald's in the Jacksonville area. McDonald's are making the Boselli burgers. Like, he had a burger named after him. He obviously doing something right, and then he had rest in peace to the late Sam Mills. He was inspirational, especially to the Panther team. And then, what he did with the Saints and, being a small linebacker and still being able to produce like he's, he just, there's like a lot of good players. John Lynch, even as a GM, he's doing good with San Francisco. And then he had his, he won the Super Bowl with Tampa. And then, Rondé Barber and Zach Thomas. Like, it'll be interesting, who makes the cut and who doesn't. It'll be interesting to see. And we'll get that in a couple of weeks, the day before the Super Bowl at the NFL Honors. But until then,
it's hard to choose.
It's hard to choose. Especially, it's a great lineup of people. They all deserve, and if it's not this year, hopefully next year or the year after that. It just really depends on the committee. It's kind of interesting how they decide that. I don't know what they do to decide it, but I think I forgot how many people it is. There's quite a few people that decide it. But yeah, that's all we're gonna go over. There's been like I said, there's been other news like head coaching positions and GMs and all that. Like the Chargers are looking for a head coach, and the Falcons and the Lions and the Jets, and we'll go over that as the head coaching carousel goes along. Tonight we just want to make it just about the playoffs because that's in a couple of days. It's right around the corner. It's Saturday. We got first set of games. We get 3 games each day for this weekend. So it'll be exciting to see who went, who's in. It's do or die for this team. Who's in and who's out. You guys excited for some wild card action?
Sure.
I'm stoked.
I mean, only Jake gets the excitement.
I'd be a lot more excited if my team was in there.
And at 6-3, I thought maybe y'all could have, but this is a tight AFC to the NFC. You have an 8-8 team, in the wild card, the Chicago Bears, while the lowest record is like 11-5 for you guys for the AFC. So man, it was a tough battle for the AFC teams. Miami was the one that ended up not making it after losing to the Bills. But yeah, we can go into the first game. We have a Saturday game, Saturday for us on the West Coast of Saturday morning. You have the seventh seed Indianapolis Colts at the second seed Buffalo Bills. And the Bills, they finished the season 13-3. Meanwhile, the Colts, they snuck in at 11-5. Luckily, they're on the outside looking in before Week 17 started, so they replaced the Miami Dolphins. But yeah, that'll be a good game. I like both of these teams. I was hoping this would be the matchup for the championship. Obviously, I don't know about the Chiefs. Chiefs are gonna make the championship, the AFC championship either way. But if I had that this decision of what I wanted to see, I wanted to see this in the championship. Seeing these two teams battle it out. And I feel like these two teams have the squads that can eventually compete with the Chiefs in the coming years for the AFC crown. But once the Colts get their future quarterback, because Philip Rivers, this is his last year, and then Josh Allen, he's been balling, man. Like I wish Rodgers or Mahomes, they weren't having the years they were. Josh Allen, he is balling this year. He started off hot. He had those couple slow games, around week 5-ish, week 6, week 4 range, and then he just lighting it up ever since. It'll be interesting who they decide to go with MVP, but Josh Allen is for sure a top 3 candidate.
Yeah, I saw a stat on Josh Allen saying that when he's thrown to a receiver that has at least one step of separation, his first 2 years in the league, he was 30th. This year, he's number 1. So his accuracy has been off the charts improved in comparison to his first 2 years. And credit to his trainer, quarterback trainer Jordan Palmer, who he trains with in Cali. He's really amped his game up a lot.
Yeah, this Bills team, I think they might be the one to compete with Kansas City. I think Kansas. We can go over Super Bowl predictions later, but I think Bills are probably the most complete team to compete with them. If not, maybe Baltimore, maybe Pittsburgh, but I don't know about the Colts. I feel like Rivers is a kind of a liability when it comes to winning the game for them against a team like the Chiefs. But we'll see what happens with that. I actually, for my score prediction for this game, I do got the Bills winning it 31-29. I think it'll be a close game. Colts got a good defense, and Jonathan Taylor's been lights out as well too. But I just, they got to be able to stop Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, which you've seen all your defenses haven't been able to do that. What about you, Jake? We can go in order what you guys' score predictions are. So you can go with you, Jake. Who you got winning?
I'm going with the underdog, Indianapolis Colts 30, Bills 23. I think the key matchup in this game is, I think, something that I realized yesterday, something I was thinking about, is the matchup of 2 former Vikings teammates, Xavier Rhodes on Stephon Diggs. Xavier Rhodes having a big bounce back season for Indianapolis after falling off a cliff with his last few years in Minnesota. And in free agency, he found himself a home in Indy. And he's only had, I think, a couple picks on the year. So, not a tremendous number, but his coverage stats have been tremendous in comparison to his last few years. And I bring this up because, him and Diggs have been practicing against each other in Minnesota from 2015 to 2019. So he knows all of Diggs' tendencies on his routes, his different, special techniques on how he gets open. So it could prove to be a difference maker for the Colts. And if he can do a good enough job on Diggs, he doesn't necessarily maybe have to stop him, because that's hard to do. But if he can at least contain him somewhat, then it'll really propel the Colts to a win in Buffalo potentially.
It'll be in that. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I got the Bills taking it in a 31-26 game. Indianapolis, they're probably one of the most complete teams, if not the most balanced on each side of the ball. So, I think they'll keep it relatively close. I think the big difference here is the Bills are a bit flashier. They have more exciting playmakers, and they have more impact players on the offensive side of the ball that I think, while the Colts defense is solid, they don't have too much elite talent on that side of the ball besides maybe DeForest Buckner. And even on the offensive side of the ball, they don't really have, elite playmakers. They have good playmakers that are able to generate offense against, most defenses in the league. But I think the Bills will be able to outscore them pretty easily.
Yeah. I have the Bills winning. I believe I had the score 31-28 or something like that. But I think ultimately at the end of the day, like X was saying, the Bills' offensive firepower is just going to be too much. The Colts do have a good defense, but like X was saying, they don't have many elite players. Stephon Diggs, I think he's going to still find a way to get open. You got John Brown, you got Cole Beasley, and you got Moss and Devin Singletary, who both provide Josh Allen with some good outlets. They're decent running backs enough so where they can make an impact in the game. I think at the end of the day, though, it's going to be Josh Allen, and if Josh Allen shines, there's no way that they're going to lose. I think it'll be close, but I don't think they'll lose.
Yeah, I don't think Bills lose either. I like the Colts team a lot, man. I like how they're built. Good defense, good D line, great run game. The run game's hitting their stride. Jonathan Taylor is balling right now, but they're playing the Bills, man, and the Bills are just so high-powered, such a high-powered offense right now, and I don't think the Colts defense can hold them down for too long. I think the first half will be close. The third quarter, fourth quarter, we'll see more big plays for this Bills offense. I think they'll start to push the ball downfield more, and then we'll see. We might see a mistake or two from Phillip. I love the man, but he's due for a mistake or two, and I think it'll end up costing them. I think it'll be decided by a touchdown. I think I have the score is 27-24 Bills. Yeah, it's gonna be a close game. Maybe a game-winning field goal or something. But
yeah, I think it's gonna be a close matchup. Troubleshoot says on YouTube, Colts with the upset. And they might. Colts.
Yeah,
they have the team to do it. They have the team to do it. But Buffalo's on a hot streak right now. They looking like one of the top teams in the league that can compete with Kansas City in the AFC. So man, it'll be an interesting battle. I think it'll be a one score game too. Maybe come down to last.
Prior years, when Josh Allen had made the playoffs, he was a first round exit. I think this year he's going to want to prove himself, and
especially after last year too.
Yeah, especially after last year
against the Colts, which is a really good team. You get that win under your belt, you might look at a deep playoff run after that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. That'll be a good game. That's Saturday for us. Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon if you're on the East Coast. But it'll be an interesting game. I'll be looking forward to that. But the second game on Saturday is between the sixth seed Los Angeles Rams, who finished the season 10-6. They're gonna travel to Seattle, the third seed Seattle, at their 12-4, who won the NFC West. And this is a iffy game. I don't know if Jared Goff's gonna play. It might be John Wolford time again. And they beat them a couple. Jared Goff hurt his thumb against the Seahawks, where the Seahawks won that game in Week 16 to win the division, and ultimately getting to host the playoff game, even though there'll be no fans. But I have the Seahawks winning at 24-17, just due to the fact that I don't know if Jared Goff's playing, and even if he does, it's his throwing thumb, so that's gonna play a big factor in the pass game for sure. They might need to rely on their run game with Cam Akers. Cam Akers has been banged up, and is this too scary for me to pick the Rams winning this game? Just with the issues. Their defense is good, though. Their defense is good enough, but then Seahawks have a good offense. So it'll be a good battle. But, yeah, if they have to rely on John Wolford to win them a playoff game in Seattle, I don't see it happening. How about you, Jake? Who you got this game? I mean, I know who you got, but I want you to say it.
Yes, well, assuming Goff is playing, and it looks like he's going to be playing, I got the Rams 23-20. It's going to be a close game, and it's going to be a low-scoring affair, kind of similar to their first two meetings in which they split the series in the regular season. The Rams won the first one in LA, and then Seattle won the second meeting in Week 16 in Century Field. Actually, no, they have a different stadium name now, don't they?
Illumin Stadium.
Right. Okay. Well, all right, Seattle. But I think in take three, I'm going to take the Rams, and Julie. Mostly because of this, the Rams, they have the history as of late against the Seahawks. Sean McVay has Pete Carroll's number, and I think Jared Goff is going to look at his last performance in Seattle from Week 16, just a couple weeks back, 2 weeks to be exact, so not too long ago. And I think he's going to be extra motivated to have a better performance in Seattle this time around. And even though Seattle's defense has really cranked up its game in recent weeks, unlike their first 10 to 12 weeks of the season where they were historically bad. They've gotten better, but I like the Rams, get back to what they do best, which is run the ball with Akers and Henderson. They got that duo in the backfield, and Malcolm Brown can receive the ball from the backfield, so he's got some pretty good talent for running back. So they got 3 guys back there, and I want to see the rookie Van Jefferson get the ball more on offense. We see Robert Woods, we see Cooper Kupp, but I want to see their 6'1", physical rookie receiver Van Jefferson, beat Shaquille Griffin along the sideline for maybe a back shoulder ball and make those types of plays for LA. The Rams need those down the field plays to beat a team like Russell Wilson in Seattle, even though they're historically successful against that team. It's the playoffs now. It's win or go home. So we can't always be playing it safe. I need to see Sean McVay and Jared Goff take their shots down the field with these receivers, and I need Goff to show that he can do this, and he has. He's been to the Super Bowl before. And I think the Rams are going to win a close one in Seattle.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Van Jefferson, make some plays too. He might be, in his sophomore year, he might get targeted more and get more play time and actually make some plays in his sophomore year. But it'll be interesting to see. You got Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp as well. That takes away those targets from you. But I think he could be a second year standout, depending on how they use him next year. What about you, Xavier? Who you got the Saturday between the Rams and the Seahawks?
I got the Seahawks in a 19-13 victory, but I'm not too confident in that pick. It seems like the Rams are, especially with Sean McVay, they play Seattle better than anybody does. The Rams, however, this is the third time they play, so I had the score as 19-13 in a kind of a low-scoring game because these teams know how to stop each other. This team's kind of like a game where both teams will kind of struggle to score, but Russell Wilson will pull late game heroics like he always does, and I think Seattle takes care of business at home in the wild card match.
Like you guys said earlier, man, I think this game really comes down to the Rams just being held back by Jared Goff's hand, man. If he can't play, then we got John Wolford over here. Injured Jared Goff, John Wolford versus Russell Wilson on the other side. I'm going to go with Russell. And that's what this game comes down to.
Yeah, I think I have the Rams, or not the Rams, the Seahawks winning 23-17. And I think ultimately it's going to depend on who starts at quarterback and how limited the quarterback is. Like, is Jared Goff going to be playing at his full potential, or is he going to be playing a little bit held back? Are they going to lean on the run game, or are they going to rely on Jared Goff to make some key throws? I think if you want to win a playoff game, they're going to have to rely on Jared Goff to make the throws he's supposed to make. I think the Rams do have the defense to keep up with the Seahawks, but like you guys mentioned earlier, I think, playoffs is Russell Wilson's forte, if you might say. He's always doing some magic, He's pretty much, he's got DK Metcalf, pretty hard to cover. He's got Tyler Lockett. I assume Jalen Ramsey's going to lock up Metcalf, so, you still got Lockett out there, and I think, Russell Wilson, he's a guy who can get it to anybody and work with what he's got to make it happen. So I have the Seahawks pulling out a close one in Seattle.
Sorry about my technical difficulties. My thing was all lagging and glitching, so I left it and came back. Hopefully, you can work for the rest of the night. I need to look into adding either Ethernet or a better Wi-Fi as the time goes on. But yeah, thank you everyone that's tuning in. We can go into the next matchup because I didn't know anything you just said there in Oregon, but it's all good, man. We get into the Saturday night game. It's between the 11-5, the 5th seed Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they're going to travel to Washington, D.C. to play the 4th seed football team who finished the season under 500. They are 7-9 and won the NFC East after their controversial Sunday night game against the Eagles. We all know what happened with the Eagles, and got called out for not trying and all that. But we can get into this matchup. Rivera. He's now the head coach for the Washington football team, and this is the second team he's taken to the postseason under 500. He did it with the 2014 Carolina Panthers when they went 7-8-1, and they won a playoff game against the Cardinals. Excuse for the Cardinals though, they had Ryan Lindley starting at quarterback that game, so pretty easy to beat. But still, 7-8-1. They finished the 4-game win streak, won the NFC South, and won a playoff game at 7-8-1. Now they're 7-9. Now Ron Rivera's taking the 7-9 team to the playoffs, hosting a playoff game against
All right, Xavier, who you got for this game?
As much as I want to believe in Washington, watching the game against Philadelphia, it wasn't too inspiring, to say the least. It seems Washington's offense can't get too much going, other than Terry McLaurin, and there's only so much he could really do for their offense. And I think the Buccaneers defense is one of the better units in the league, so they'll be able to, they'll be able to take one player out of the game. And if that happens, then, all Washington has left is their defense. And Chase Young and Terry McLaurin could only do so much for your team. Tampa Bay's offense has been a lot better. I think we see Brady and Arians more on the same page as the season's going. And they're even getting Antonio Brown involved along with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. So that's also encouraging to see. So I think Tampa Bay takes it 26-10.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tampa Bay will – I think it'll be a close game, but I think Tampa Bay will pull out 26-20. I think ultimately it's going to come down to firepower. I don't think Washington football team has enough firepower to keep up with the high-powered Bucs team. You got Chris Godwin, AB, Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. You got depth and players everywhere on that roster. So I think ultimately it's going to come down to Tampa Bay just has better players and a lot more depth than Washington football team. I think Washington will fight, but Bucs are just too crazy right now.
What about Naeem? How do you got?
Yeah, I got the same thing with you guys. I got the Bucs, man. Bucs really just have more firepower. Like Boyman also comes to saying, AB is returning to form. He's looking better and better each week. Brady's looking for him. That's without a doubt. Brady's always got an eye out for AB. And then he has all those other receivers on there. And that Washington offense, I don't know what it can do besides, it can run the ball. It's decent somewhat. Alex Smith can hit his check downs to McKissick and Barber, whoever it may be. Man, it's not being able to move the ball and score enough points on the Bucs defense. It's an outmatched game. Bucs are in this stride. I have Bucs winning at least by like 2 touchdowns. Yeah, 113 is what I have.
Yeah, I've been on the fence with this one quite a bit, and I was really considering, the pros and cons for each team in this matchup. And, again, I went back and forth. This is funny because this is the game with the NFC East team, which is, it's the NFC East. But this is the game that I've been back and forth on all week. And ultimately, I am going to go with the Bucs. I just can't pick against Tom Brady in the playoffs. Like, it doesn't really matter what team he's on. And Caleb, never mind. If we can pin this comment right here, the second to last one, AB is back. Yeah, he is back. He just had, I think it was 8 catches, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns in Week 17.
Sheesh.
He is finally getting that chemistry down in the Bucs offense. After like a couple weeks of warming up, he's now catching fire. And of course, watching AB for many, many years, he's been my favorite player forever. He is really going to prove to be a difference maker for the Bucs, not just in this game, but just in the NFC playoffs in general. And Washington, though, I'll give them this though. They have the pieces. They have the defensive line. And how did the Giants beat the Patriots and Tom Brady in those 2 Super Bowls? They had the D line, they had the pass rush, and Washington has that. They have a top 3 defensive line, a top 3 pass rush in the entire league. And you good, Caleb? But yeah, I got the Bucs 26-17. I think it's going to be fairly defensive. I would actually be really surprised if a team went over 30, even if it was the Bucks. I did give Washington a fighting chance though, but my pick's going to be a Tampa Bay 26-17.
I thought it was funny because I'd admit myself, I didn't really think Antonio Brown to Tampa Bay was a thing that was going to really work out. Considering just
How many weapons?
just everything that happened with his previous teams, like with the Raiders. Obviously, I'm a Raiders fan, so like I know firsthand, what was going on.
That's right.
And with the Patriots as well, he was released after one game, and he played well in that game. But I mean, like his attitude in the off-field stuff was able to get him canned after one game. But it's cool to see. I'm not sure if it's having Tom Brady there, Bruce Arians coaching or whatever, but yeah, he's been able to get himself together for the most part so far. But we'll see if it will last. But it's looking encouraging so far.
All right, I wanna interrupt. I'm sorry for my technical difficulties. I had to go into my hotspot, so that's how bad my fucking Wi-Fi is, bro. I need to get an Ethernet cable before we go back live again.
You're good, man. Hey, it's just a minor inconvenience. We all have those problems.
Actually.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear anything that was talked about, man. It interrupted what I was saying, so it's all good. Hopefully, my hotspot works better. Because my Wi-Fi is shit. I mean, I just paid that damn bill today too, so it's like that's what makes it more frustrating.
Yeah.
Like I paid like $90 for fucking internet, and this for it to be shit. So that's all good. So yeah, those are the Saturday games. I'll just go along with it. Those are the Saturday games. It'll be interesting. I didn't say my matchup prediction for this game, but I have the upset. I got football team winning 28-27, so one-score game, a 1-point game.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. I feel like there's gonna be one upset this weekend. I feel like that's gonna be the upset. So I'm just gonna call it then. But we can go on to the Sunday morning/afternoon, depending on where you're at in the world. That game, it's between the 5th seed Baltimore Ravens at the 4th seed Tennessee Titans, and it's a rematch of the divisional game from last year that Derrick Henry just ran all over them boys on Baltimore. And Lamar Jackson was the MVP, and he didn't even get to make it far. He played one game and then lost. So. It'll be interesting to see. I got the Ravens winning it this time though. I got them winning 34-28, a 6-point game. It'll be interesting to see what Derrick Henry does if they have to rely on the pass game, because if they shut down, if they fall behind or something, they're going to have to rely on Tannehill, and Tannehill's going to have to prove that he's a top quarterback by trying to win a game that they can't rely on Henry to do. Baltimore's been on a hot streak lately. They ended the season on 4-game win streak or something like that after losing 4 or 3. So it's I got them keeping it rolling and making it to the divisional round. And Lamar Jackson's gonna win his first playoff game, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. How about you, Jake? I know you hate the Ravens, but who you got?
All right. Well, despite my team being in the playoffs and they have their own game to play, this is the game that I am most excited for out of all the games. And that includes my team. This is the game.
That's probably the best game.
Yep. And I think, hopefully we can all agree. I know we have all different thoughts, but this is my favorite game of the weekend. And I was kind of back and forth on this one too, but not as much as most may think. I was more on the fence with the Bucks and Washington game than this one. I ultimately picked Baltimore win 31-24. I just think, with John Harbaugh being, such a great coach, he's a Super Bowl champion himself, won it back in, the 2012 season with Joe Flacco, and Lamar Jackson, he's trying to prove the doubters wrong. And like you said, Caleb, already, I'm a Steelers fan. I'm supposed to hate the Ravens, but I do respect them. You got to have that mutual respect. And they've been on a hot streak. And I think outside of the Buffalo Bills, the Ravens may be the hottest team in the league right now if you exclude the Bills from the conversation. It's got to be Baltimore. And, their running game, their passing game, just their offensive sync is just in perfect form right now, unlike it was in the middle of the year when they were having all these troubles with their play calling and the run game wasn't as effective as last year. That's what it was looking like, but now they're back in form, and J.K. Dobbins is now 110% taking over that backfield role, as he should have been doing so a long time ago. As for the Titans offense, I believe Derrick Henry will still ball out. I believe Tannehill will have a better game against the Ravens, unlike their last playoff meeting last year when it was literally all Henry. But I still think they'll have a good game nonetheless. I just think the Ravens will be better, and I think they'll move on to the divisional round.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if they can. Lamar Jackson gets his first career playoff win. He lost to the Chargers his rookie year, then he lose to Tennessee at home in the divisional round last year. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get the revenge in the wild card round this time around. How about you, X? What's your final prediction?
Real quick on this game.
What's up, Nahum?
Real quick on the game, man. It's interesting. I think it's the most interesting game of the weekend, whole weekend. Because considering, these teams played last year, and Derrick Henry just ran all over them. They couldn't stop him. And then we look at this year, and this Tennessee team this defense is weaker than it was. The corners are not good. There's no pass defense. They tackle well. They're tough. They're physical. But I think the Ravens have the edge this year also because they made additions with Calais Campbell. All right. It's going to be a lot harder to run downhill when Calais Campbell's on that D-line. And this Ravens team has been playing a playoff game pretty much every game for the past 5 weeks. Every game for the past 5 weeks has been like if they lose, they're out of the playoffs because the AFC was so contested this year. So I think Ravens have a different sense of urgency this year, and they're going to come back this week with a lot more focus than they were last year.
Yeah, it should be a really close game. It'll be a defensive battle for sure especially the Ravens side of the ball. But X, who do you got this Sunday morning between the Ravens and Titans?
I think this is a game that could go either way. It's kind of funny because Nahum actually brought up a point that I was going to say. The Titans' defense isn't what it was, last year, and it's not what they're really accustomed to being. It seems like they have not gotten worse as the season gone, but I think we've been more exposed to, what they're not really great at doing. And I have Baltimore winning 28-24. They rediscovered their identity, not only from last year, but they know who they are now. They have their players. J.K. Dobbins, they're starting to lean in on him and trust him more than they did in the beginning of the season. And, that's led to, all these big chunk plays from J.K. Dobbins. And the run game has been a lot better. And as we've seen, Lamar Jackson reached 1,000 yards again, rushing for the season. This seems like a game where, whoever gets down first has the disadvantage, mainly because these teams are, two of the best run games in the NFL, if not the two best run games in the NFL. Obviously, Derrick Henry is a 2,000-yard rusher. Baltimore has, a lot of guys that can run the ball. J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Lamar Jackson himself. And, I just think the big difference in this game is Baltimore's defense has been playing a lot better. And I think, after losing the last two matchups to the Titans, the Ravens, they're going to figure out a way to not stop Derrick Henry, obviously, because that's a pretty tough task to take on, but they'll try to find a way to limit him and limit his impact on the game. And I think Baltimore takes it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Originally, I had the Titans winning just because, Derrick Henry, he's such a force and it's kind of hard to stop. But I agree with Nahum that Lamar's been playing playoff football, ever since he got down early in the season and he had to win out with the rest of his team in order to make playoffs. And then at making playoffs, and I think they probably do continue the momentum. I think Lamar Jackson is due for a playoff win at this point in his career. I think he wants to prove doubters wrong. And like you guys all mentioned, Tennessee's defense is really weak at this point. And if John Harbaugh and the rest of that defense can come up with a plan to limit Henry and force Tennessee to rely more on Tannehill, I think that can create a lot of turnovers for the Ravens defense, and that can let them come out with a win. I think this is one of those games that could go either way, but I'm going to have to roll with the Ravens at this point.
Yeah, Ravens, after they got struck with the whole COVID outbreak and all that, they're on, kind of a downward spiral. But yeah, the past 4 weeks, they've been lighting it up and they look like a team to beat in the AFC, So it'll be interesting. This is a good matchup, Tennessee and Baltimore, they played in the divisional round last year. So now they're playing in the wild card, how you only get one bye. Now only one team gets one bye, and then each conference has three games in the wild card round. So that number 1 seed is now it's even more crucial than before. You get the home playoff. You get to play at home the whole playoffs, and then you're the only team with a bye. So it'll be interesting to see who wins this game. The second game from Sunday, it's between the 7th seed Chicago Bears. They're traveling south to the 2nd seed New Orleans. This is a rematch from week 8, and it was an overtime game. The Saints barely won it by a field goal, 26-23, and they should be getting Kamara back. They should be getting Michael Thomas back. Breeze is back, obviously. It'll be interesting. How the Chicago Bears defense plays against this offense, and how good. It was Nick Foles that played that first game too, for what I remember. It wasn't Mitch Trubisky. I think he was benched by then, or was it Mitch Trubisky? Yeah, I can't remember.
It was Nick Foles. It was Nick Foles.
Okay, so now it's Mitch Trubisky time. And he was kind of doing all right towards the end of the year. They lost week 17, but he hasn't been as horrible as you think of Mitch Trubisky. But fall on him if their defense can get the job done. But it falls, Mitch Trubisky's gonna have to be the one to lead the team to win, especially against a high-powered offense like the Saints, who he had Ty Montgomery run all over Carolina in week 17. Now they're getting Alvin Kamara, and they should be getting Latavius Murray back. They should be getting Michael Thomas back, who hasn't really played at all this year. Emmanuel Sanders had a big week 17 game as well, and all the other no names they have at receiver. They're playing their part. And then Jared Cook is still, he had a touchdown last week as well. So it'll be interesting to see. And that game is going to be on Nickelodeon. So I was hoping maybe we might see some slime action. They might just throw some slime cannons out on the field or something like that. If you see people slipping on goo and shit, that'd be pretty funny to see. Bear down. Yeah, me as a Panther fan, I'm rooting for the Bears. So bear down. I'm bearing down this weekend. I'm not gonna say the NFL is fixed or rigged or what, but they put this game on Sunday for Kamara to come back, man. I'm telling you that now. The NFL wanted Kamara to play that game, so they probably wouldn't be if it was Saturday. So I'm just gonna call that out now.
But you know what, Bears, they should want to play Kamara. They should want to prove that they can stop Kamara.
They got the defense to do so.
They do.
They do.
But you gonna put it on Sunday and not Saturday? Then they better throw some slime out there for them players to be slipping on that, because they're getting a break having to play Sunday instead of Saturday. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's no way the Saints lose this one. I mean, 12-14 versus an 8-8 team, and I mean, Saints are 12-4 with all the things they've gone through during the season, with losing Drew Brees, losing Michael Thomas. They've dealt with a lot of adversity they've had to go through. I mean, even at the beginning of the season when Drew Brees was, his teammates were all getting at him for his comments on the flag, that could have caused a lot of friction in the locker room. But, they've pulled it together for a really impressive season for a team that's dealt with quite a bit. So, I mean, I have the Saints winning. I think there's no way they lose. I think it'll be kind of close, but 30-23 Saints win.
I'm right there with you. I got the Saints winning it. I'm hoping for Chicago just because I hate the Saints. That's probably the team I hate the most. Sorry, Saints fans, if I offend y'all. I got the Saints winning 24-20. I think it'll be a close game, but I don't think Mitch Trubisky, their defense is too good, especially if the Bears' offensive line isn't that great, and you're going up against Cameron Jordan, the rest of that, front seven with New Orleans. I just feel like they're not going to be able to make plays on offense. David Montgomery might get shut down. They might have to rely on Mitch Trubisky to make throws especially if they fall down early in the game. They're going to rely on Mitch Trubisky to lead them back. And, maybe they won't utilize David Montgomery as how they've been using them past couple of weeks. It might be a big game for Allen Robinson. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. How about you, Jake? Who you got winning this game?
Okay, so what's the storyline been with the Saints the last few years? 2017, you got the Minneapolis Miracle. 2018, you got the notorious PI call, or no call, I should say, on Rams quarter on Nicole Roby-Coleman in the NFC Championship. Last year, you lose to Kirk Cousins in a playoff game, which no team ever does. So what could
I look forward to these moments every time it's playoff time.
What could possibly be worse than that? Oh, look who you're playing. You got Mitch Trubisky this week. If you lose to Mitchell Trubisky and you're the New Orleans Saints, I don't know what to think. But I do have the Saints this week. I just don't think it's not destiny for the Bears to win a playoff game this year for me, at least. But hey, I gotta give the Bears, props for getting in though. They fought at the end of the year and the end of the season with 4 straight games with 30+ points. Montgomery and Trubisky's been on fire ever since he's taken over. And the Bears defense still is what it is. I hope they get their second round pick, Jalen Johnson at corner, to play opposite of Kyle Fuller. Yeah, because right now besides Kyle Fuller, they're kind of lacking at corner. So if they can get Jalen Johnson back to match up with Emmanuel Sanders or Roquan Smith, and they have the linebackers in Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan to shadow guys like Jared Cook and to stuff the gaps on Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. So, and then you have the pass rush, of course, with Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack and all them boys. But I just like the Saints in the dome and Sean Payton. He's an offensive mastermind. He's going to find a way. No matter who's at quarterback. And I have the Saints. I think 27-17 was my score.
Yeah. Before we get on to UX, I want to say shout out Jalen Johnson. You got the Utah Ute helmet in the background. I don't know if y'all can tell, but shout out Jalen Johnson. Rest in peace, Ty Jordan. They had his memorial service yesterday. They carried him to the end zone one last time. So rest in peace to Ty Jordan, and salute to the Utah organization for doing that for him. But yeah, X, we can go on to this game. X, who you got going? Who you got?
So before I give my prediction, I just want to say I respect the Bears, the players and the staff in the locker room. After they started 5-1, people were saying, "Oh, this is the worst 5-1 team we've ever seen." They're not deserving of the record, and they fell to 5-7. And it takes a lot for them not to buy into everything that people were saying, everything the media was saying. They fell to 5-7. They're obviously getting criticized for being frauds or whatever, but the people in the locker room didn't quit. And they fought hard. They went on a winning streak 10 the season. They won 3 games in a row. They lost to the Green Bay Packers in week 17, but they still managed, despite all that, they still managed to sneak in the playoff. And that all being said, I still got the same 27-9. One of these days, I think we'll learn to just respect Sean Payton a lot more for what he's done for the Saints offense through all these years, and it's seemingly more apparent now with last season Drew Brees goes down, they got Teddy Bridgewater, the offense doesn't skip a beat. This season Drew Brees goes down again, they have Taysom Hill and they still don't skip a beat. Even when people were saying Taysom Hill can't pass, they still managed to put up the points to win the game. They still managed to, keep the offense moving. And even this year, we're seeing a Drew Brees that's not nearly as effective as Drew Brees has been in the past, but they're still managing to put up the same scores as, the Saints teams of old. And I just think this Saints team right now is a well-oiled machine, that's just going to keep on going regardless of the health of the quarterback. And I think it's just too much for the Bears to overcome. The Saints are very solid on defense. The Bears have been up and down on offense. We've seen them better as the season is progressing. I still don't think it's enough to really compete with the Saints offense, and especially to outscore the Saints offense with how well the Saints defense has been playing. So I got the Saints in a 27-9 victory.
Yeah, if the offense for the Chicago can't get rolling, it could get ugly. Just how good the Saints defense and offense is. So it could be an ugly game. It might be might be the only game that might not be close this weekend. But we'll see what happens. How about you, Nahum? Who you got winning this game?
Man, as much I want to see something again happen to the Saints. I don't think this is a pretty clear cut. W for the Saints, man. The Bears shouldn't have been in the playoffs, in my opinion, but they get in, and they're here to try to play. Try to make their way. But yeah, I don't have much to say about this game. I think Saints win it also by more than 2 scores.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, man. Maybe Chicago might just, prove us all wrong, and we might be talking about it next week. How New Orleans, messed up again, and their playoff curse happened again. And I like watching the playoffs for that. It gives me excitement and joy knowing that I'm at home watching my team not play. So I'll root for the other guys going up against the Saints, and that gives me something to root for. But yeah, sorry for my Saint fans that are watching, or I don't want to hurt y'all feelings or offend y'all. I want y'all to come back next week, but we'll discuss what happens in that matchup next week as well. But we can go into the last matchup of Wild Card Weekend. It's Sunday night. Jake's been waiting all episode to talk about this. Sunday night, 6 seed Cleveland Browns at the 3rd seed Pittsburgh Steelers, and there's been COVID cases going around with Cleveland. They said they might get postponed, but I don't think it is. I saw something saying that it won't. It's still on for Sunday night. I'll just let you take over, Jake, man. What you got this game? I got to you. I got the Steelers winning at 34-31. But yeah, Jake, you can take the spotlight.
Well, it take 3 with these two teams. They split the season series. The Steelers won the first matchup. The Browns, they won last week in Week 17 when the Steelers sacked key starters like Big Ben, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, and center Marquise Pouncey. I believe the Steelers only started 4 defensive starters last week, so that was, an interesting stat. But I'm gonna be honest here. I'm not quite sure what to expect from this game, really. If Kevin Stefanski was on the sidelines coaching up the Browns, then I would say, sure. But, you got offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt at the helm for head coach just for this week. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to do with the play calling. I'm assuming he's still going to take the play calling duties. He's just going to be the head coach as well as the OC. And if we're talking like the past month and a half or so, Baker Mayfield, I got to give him major props. He's been a top 10 quarterback, and he's thrown, I think it was 16 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions over that span of like the last month and a half. He's been throwing the ball fantastic each and every week ever since then. But now you're going to the Heinz Field at night on NBC in a primetime game in Pittsburgh. And I got the Steelers in a win here, 29-20. I think the Browns, I think they'll run the ball effectively. I think Nick Chubb will be effective enough, and as well as Kareem Hunt. I think even with their guard Joe Bitonio missing the game due to COVID, which is very unfortunate because he's a key offensive lineman for their offense.
Very big.
As well as All-Pro Wyatt Teller, who's been missing some time. But I just think I just see the Steelers pass defense playing a really solid game. And, they've been hearing all the storylines of Baker Mayfield, you're doing all these great things, or he's been doing this and that. And obviously the storylines on Big Ben recently, especially before the Colts game, haven't been too kind to him. And knowing that this may potentially be his last ride, especially due to his salary cap situation heading into next year, he's going to be taking up about $41.5 million worth of salary cap, which is a lot. And as a matter of fact, Ben will be the highest paid player as of 2021 if he does play. So with that in mind, the Steelers, that whole team, they know that they want to win for Big Ben, and I think that they're going to have that extra motivation to do so, and I think it starts this week. So, I got the Browns. No, I got the Steelers 29-20, and it's going to be the Steelers advancing to the next round.
Just for you, just for you, I hope they do. And if they don't, we can cry about it in the next episode. Just for you. But X, who do you got winning this game? Who you got winning this game, man?
Okay, so Caleb, you were talking about how there seems to be an upset every wild card weekend.
Are you doing it?
I think I might. I might have to apologize beforehand because I think I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I say the Browns win 20-19. It's the third time they're playing. It's a division game. it's a division rivalry, and lots of insanity happened, and especially in a third game where these teams know each other very well. Interesting thing about Kevin Stefanski being out with Alex Van Pelt taking play calling duties. I'm pretty sure. I saw that Aaron Rodgers was actually speaking up about how Alex Van Pelt he's a good fit for them, and he wouldn't be surprised if the Browns came out there and played to how they have been playing every year. Aaron Rodgers has full confidence in Alex Van Pelt to run this Browns offense and run the Browns team. So I thought that was interesting to see. This is a game where I'm not even sure if there's too much of a consensus to what's going to happen pertaining to like either point spread or even just the outcome of the game in general. So as an outsider watching, I feel indifferent about both of these teams, especially considering I'm a Raiders fan. I feel like I can just root for insanity and hope for the best matchup.
Yeah, it'll be a good matchup for sure. I think you're the only one that probably got the Browns for this matchup, and they might have a chance. You never know if the Steelers can't get their offense going, which they won the past 2 games now. But if they can't get their offense going, it might come back to hurt them in the playoffs. But I hope we don't have to talk about that, Jake. I'm praying for you. I don't like the Browns either, man. I don't like the Browns either. But how about you, Nahum? Who you got winning this matchup?
Well, with I want to upset. I really do. I want to see people, but with the Joel team being out, that's what I didn't know beforehand, and I think that's a big loss, man. They love running up the middle, and he's probably their best lineman. I mean, shit, they have a solid line, but he's really, really good. And so with Cam Hayward over there, and just the rest of that D line, but they may be able to take advantage of that the guy who's stepping in. And I just think experience also. Big Ben will show better. Maybe with a week off or 2 weeks off, now he's going to rest his arm out, come out a little bit better. I think the Steelers' experience, though, will be the factor in this. I think it's the deciding factor. I think they win.
One crazy stat line before we go on to you, Darian. Big Ben. He didn't play week 17, so it don't count towards him. He's 23-2-1 versus Cleveland in his career, man. How crazy. And you play that team twice a year, and you're 23-2-1. That is insane. That just goes to show how bad this Cleveland team has been since, say, 2004, because that's when we got drafted. That's wild. I feel like that should be acknowledged more, to be able to go 23-2-1 versus a team that you play twice a year. It's the Browns. They obviously sucked for years until now, but yeah, that's insane. I know Browns would definitely love to make that 3 losses for Big Ben, especially in a playoff game. So Darian, who you got winning this matchup on Sunday night?
I want the Browns to win personally. Of course.
It's okay. It's okay, Jake. Come on your side.
To have Browns go on a deep playoff run, and who better to do it against than the rival? But I have Steelers with a slight edge, 27-24, just because, like Nahum was mentioning, the experience. You got Mike Tomlin, who's definitely not new to being in the playoffs. I think he has 1 Super Bowl, or he might have 2, right? Or I don't know. I know he has 1 Super Bowl.
One Super Bowl.
He has 1.
There's 1 Super Bowl. But, he's no stranger to the playoffs. I mean, and this whole Browns team is they're not going to be with Stefanski, or probably not, most likely not. And Mike Tomlin, he just knows what to do. He knows his team. He knows this Cleveland team. I think, that's why they get the slight edge. I think Cleveland can win, and I hope they do, but the slight edge goes to coaching in this case for me.
Yeah. And this is Cleveland doesn't have playoff experience, especially in this last decade. So, that could play a big factor in this game. It's a different atmosphere when you're playing in a playoff game compared to a regular season game. So I feel like, that could, the inexperience from that team, be Baker Mayfield's first rodeo in the postseason. So that could, be a factor in the outcome of that game. Maybe he might get the the butterflies in his stomach, the jitters, and he might just throw a bad throw, because he's trying to just make a play because he's under the spotlight, But yeah, I feel like that could also be a big factor in this matchup of who could win this game, because Pittsburgh, they didn't make the playoffs last year. I think it's the first time since 2017 that they made the postseason.
Yep, 2017.
So, I mean, it's been a couple of years, but Mike Tomlin and Big Ben and those key guys, they've had experience with playing in the playoffs. So I feel like them having that experience will all like, of course, give them the edge as well. But yeah, that's the wild card weekend. We got some good matchups, and we get 3 games on Saturday and Sunday, and one of them being on Nickelodeon. So it'll be a interesting weekend. You could check out the article we got up on the website dailyfootballzone.com.
And also,
you can check that out.
I just want to say just one more thing with the matchup. We're getting middle linebacker Robert Spillane back, which doesn't seem to it doesn't seem too much of a big deal breaker to all like the neutral fans, but it is, because since Robert Spillane took over for Devin Bush in Week 5 due to his ACL injury, he's been second in the entire league in pass coverage and passer rating allowed to quarterbacks. So that includes Jalen Ramsey, guys like Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates is number 1, by the way. He's the only guy in front of Spillane over that time.
Yeah, he was a key guy, not a household name, but the takeover for Devin Bush, who was obviously a stud as a linebacker. He was doing his part until he got hurt a couple weeks ago. But you can follow Terrible Towel Zone on Twitter and Instagram. Jake's running that page. He's doing a good job. We're starting it up. I started up my own page, the BB Outline, the Black and Blue Outline. You can follow me as well. It's part of the Daily Football Zone Network. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram under the BB Outline. And yeah, that's the wild card weekend matchups, and it'll be a good set of games. I'm looking forward to it. Sitting on the couch all weekend and watching these teams battle it out. But yeah, you can check it.
It's going to be the most interesting, and Titans Ravens. Both of those or all of those teams. Those are the 2 good matchups.
Yeah, it'll be a great weekend, and you got the divisional round the week after, and then the championship. Eventually, got Super Bowl in February. And speaking of Super Bowl, though, this will be our discussion. So, whoever is watching right now, you guys can always chime in. Let us know how you guys feel, what you guys think. But the discussion of the day is Super Bowl predictions, and I want to. If you want to, leave a comment, we'll put it on air for us to read, and always feel free to interact. We appreciate it, and it makes the show go even better. So yeah, Super Bowl predictions. I want to say Bills, and I want to say Bills and Packers.
Oh,
but I want to say that, but do I really think that?
Well, think about this.
I don't know if Josh Allen is there yet to do it. That's And that team, I don't know if that team is quite ready for it just yet. You got to beat the Chiefs. You got to go to Kansas City and beat this Chiefs team, which is hard to do. Man, Chiefs, they've had games where they look beatable. They've had games where they look beatable, but it's the playoffs, man. And knowing Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce on that offense alone, it's a scary offense. And I'm going to go with Chiefs Packers.
I agree with that. And I agree with it because ever since the beginning of this season, it might be a small thing, but the commercials they've been playing have been the State Farm commercials with the Patrick Price and the Rogers rate. I think
are you playing conspiracies?
Subconsciously.
The NFL has it set up already.
They're the 2 best teams. They're both having MVP seasons, and I think we deserve the 2 best quarterbacks in the league right now in the Super Bowl. They both play similar.
They're both the number 1 seed.
Yeah, they both throw the ball like each other. They both basically play the same way, crazy no-look throws, cross-body throws. And they both have the offenses and decent enough defenses to get there. Like you're mentioning with the Bills, I think the Bills are not quite there yet. I think they could make it, but like you said, they're going to have to go into KC and beat the Chiefs, and beating Pat Mahomes is something only the Raiders can really do.
Yeah, Kansas City is a good team, but hey, I might change it up. If I want to pull up kind of conspiracy kind of type of thoughts, I might take away Green Bay. I might since the Super Bowl is going to be played in Tampa Bay, what if I told you it's Bucks versus Chiefs? It's Tom Brady versus Brady versus Kansas City. The only thing about the Buccaneers, they only beat one team with a winning record this year. I thought I saw on Instagram today. They only beat.
Who was it though?
I don't know. Was it Chicago? No, they lost to Chicago. Packers.
Chicago,
yeah, Packers. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they whooped them 38-10. Yeah.
They demolished them. Yeah, I bet on the game, so I bet on the over. So I'm hoping Bucks. I'm hoping like Rodgers Brady, a high scoring game. Nah, what I saw was that Bucks defense just all over Aaron Rodgers in that offense. Man, I'm telling you, if this Bucks team will get better. It's been getting better each week of the season, and I think it's just they're about to hit their stride right now. And I think they're that defense, if it plays to its potential, those fast linebackers, that D line, young DBs, and
I think the only thing against the Bucks is if they come into contact with the Saints. You saw the Saints put a shellacking on them. Season. So I mean, if the Bucks can get past the Saints, they got a shot. I think they do got a shot. I think they definitely will contending team for sure.
I'm gonna have to apologize again because I think I'm playing devil's advocate too much, but I have some concerns with the Kansas City Chiefs, and obviously I'm not doubting them or whatever. I'm positive they can go on a Super Bowl run again. One thing that does scare me though is the playoff bye, and you saw that last year against the Texans where they fell down 24-0. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes was able to dig them out of that deficit. And, they turned the game in their favor. They scored 51 points. My concern is on top of the playoff bye, they also rested starters in week 17 against the Chargers, which, obviously they didn't have too much to play for. They locked up the number 1 seed. But I do think that the 2 bye weeks, it's hard to come out after 2 weeks of not playing football and, play in perfect shape as they have been doing. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of rust to knock off. And, with Patrick Mahomes, they were able to, erase that deficit. My one concern is I'm not sure if they're going to be able to erase that deficit against a team like the Bills or even the Ravens for that matter, who are able to run the ball effectively. So say like this Kansas City team gets down 14-0. I'm not sure if teams like the Bills or the Ravens, just like the Texans last year, are able to, throw in the white towel. I don't think that's what the Bills are or the Ravens are. The Texans were a good team last season, but they were pretty flawed. And we thought throughout the season, we haven't seen that problem with the Bills. We have seen a little bit of that problem with the Ravens, but with the Bills, they're a Hail Mary away from going 14-2 and even having a chance for that number 1 seed. So that's just a thought to consider.
I agree. I think the ultimate thing is that not a lot of defenses have enough to stop the Chiefs offense, I feel like. Because, you got Hill, you got Kelsey. I don't know if Hilaire is going to be healthy enough to come back. He might be. He might not. Pat Mahomes. You got Mecole Hardman even. Demarcus Robinson. Sammy Watkins. I don't know if Bills' defense can handle that. I don't know if most of the defenses can handle that. I do want to say, though, I think Ravens are a dark horse Super Bowl team. I think Lamar Jackson has a lot to prove this year. And I think him and John Harbaugh and the team they have can definitely make a run or a deep playoff run.
I think it'll all depend on how they look versus Tennessee.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I have to see that game first before I believe they can go on that run all the way to the big dance.
Yeah. To speak on a different team, any shot that the Colts can somewhat make it?
I do. I give them a shot.
I do think somehow they can, just based off the defense and how and the fact that Frank Reich is running the offense. And I think with his play calling, he can definitely get, and that team, they can definitely make a deep playoff run if they beat the defense.
Rivers has something to play for, too. He announced not too long ago that this may be his last year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have one concern with the Colts team, and I feel like we've seen this throughout the season. I just feel like they're just not a team with as much upside as other teams. they're solid on they're solid on all fronts, from D line to O line to run game to even their receivers are playing solid, even though they don't have as many bigger names on that receiving core, besides T.Y. Hilton. And their corners have been playing solid, their safeties, their entire secondary. I just don't think they have the elite playmakers that a lot of these other teams do. They're a more complete team than these other teams. Like, they're a more complete team than I'd say the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs, who we've seen their defense could let up some points. But the difference between the Colts and those teams like the Bills or the Chiefs is, the Colts don't have a Stephon Diggs. They don't have a Josh Allen. The Colts don't have a Tyreek Hill or Mahomes or Travis Kelce that, they can lean on if things get tougher.
Great point. I think the race, honestly, it's going to be a great race. I mean, all these teams deserve to be here, and they're all really good teams, really well-coached teams. It's going to be interesting to see how far each team goes and which upsets happen. I'm praying on the Browns. I mean, I know you're a Steelers fan, but I'm praying the Browns pull off an upset just because Browns in the playoffs ever. So it's going to be crazy to see.
A Washington Cleveland Super Bowl 55.
Washington.
That's a 2020 Super Bowl if you ever seen one.
Right.
Alex Smith, Phillip Rivers. That's what I want.
Alex Smith, Phillip Rivers.
That's the Super Bowl of dreams right there.
Are there any teams on the NFC side that haven't won a ring yet?
No, I think they all have a ring, at least one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think I'm always going to root for teams to get their first ring. So I think I got either the Bills in this one, unless it's the Chargers, then or any other team that I don't like. But I like when other teams have their successful season. So I think I'm a pull for the Bills in this one.
The Bills can do it. I think they can do it.
Yeah. I mean, I want Bills to win. It's just me being a Panther fan and the connection they have with Buffalo with their coach used to be our DC, and then Brandon Beans over there, and then you got just a bunch of other former players that are also on the team. It'll be interesting for sure. That's who I want. I want Bills to make it, but you gotta get through Kansas City before.
I want Bills to make the Super Bowl and then lose, and then make it again next
year. Yeah, four straight years. Josh Allen's the new Jim Kelly.
Kelly. Shit.
Imagine if the headlines if Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl with Tampa Bay.
And Tampa Bay.
We want to
crazy.
Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
I think it'll be Mahomes and Rodgers too, but I'm hoping Allen and Rodgers.
They've already programmed us for it, man. The Patrick.
Yeah, I forgot to get into it when we're talking about matchup predictions, but we can do it now. Our playoff records were all 0-0, so we'll compete at that. I mean, not all of us got to predict for the whole season, only I did. But my final regular season record was I got 164 wins, 91 losses, and one tie with the win percentage of .643. I did every week. You guys tagged along eventually, within the year, but it wasn't, not as many as I had. But Nahum, your regular season record was 102 wins and 63 losses with a win percentage of .618. And then Jake, you came along after, and your regular season record was 85-46 with a win percentage of .648. And then Darian, your regular season record was 74-34 with the best win percentage of .685. And X, you'll be on it next year. I know you're about to join in like 3 weeks before the season ends. So I was like, I'll just add you to it next year, But I'll get you on the playoff record too. I'll put you on there. I'll put you on the playoff records. But yeah, that's the records for the regular season. Yeah, I did all 17 weeks. Next year we'll all be able to do the 17 weeks, and that's when the win percentage and the record will matter more because we all didn't start from week one. Only I did. So I'm the only one with a tie. So Yeah, it'll be more competitive next year for sure. Because I want to. I'm giving myself the benefit of the doubt. I don't have the best win percentage because you guys didn't have the opportunity to lose games like I did because I did it from the get go. So I'll be more competitive with you guys next year for sure. But yeah, that's pretty much it for episode 8 of Daily Football Zone Live. I want to thank all of you guys. Thank you for the ones that tuned in and shared it to your friends, your family, everyone. I want to thank all 4 of you guys as well for be able to come on live with me. I'm sorry for my technical difficulties. I know Darian had some too, and all that in the beginning, but mine was more in the middle of the show and all that. But we'll work on that as the days go on. We'll work on fixing that.
For sure. Yeah, thanks for having us, man. I enjoy being here, and thank you to our viewers for tuning in every week. We love to hear from you guys. We love when you guys comment stuff. It's really fun out here.
Yeah, thank you, Caleb. Thank you, fans. It's always a pleasure to be on here.
Always, and just feel free to interact. Feel free to share with your football buddies and anyone man. Just come talk football with us. We appreciate it. It's always good to come and talk to you guys. Thank you guys for making the time of day to be on here with me. We'll for sure continue to grow as the year go on. I feel like this is going to be the year. But no doubt by the end of the year we're going to get bigger and better. And I'm looking forward to it. So I want to say good night to everybody. See you guys next week. Enjoy Wildcard Weekend. Looking forward to talk some more football with you guys. You guys enjoy the New Year's and make the best out of 2021. Stay safe and have a great night.
Thank you.
Have a great night.